Good morning, everyone. Eric here from the Nomadic Fanatic channel. Well, you've been asking me the most common question asked on this channel in the last couple months is, Eric, how do you find land? How do you find these land opportunities out there? I've been trying to put this video together, but I've been trying to make sure that I have enough resources and help and information I don't want to steer people wrong, you know, like I always say, don't do what I do, blah, blah, blah. But in this case, maybe you're interested in doing what I'm doing on this channel. Property, off-grid property in a very desirable area. So today I'm going to talk to you about Apache County, some really affordable resources that you can take a look at. You can own land for as little as $199 a month. Yeah. Thank you for joining me, guys. I will be uploading this video today with some Connecten internet. Check out the video description below for unlimited high-speed internet. There's some other frequently asked questions in the video description as well, in case you're wondering. I probably covered it down below, equipment-wise, cat information, bus information, stuff like that. So, yeah, how do you find property? Maybe you're interested in becoming a landowner here in Apache County, like myself and so many of my other friends, and 66 to 68,000 other people who don't necessarily want to be stuck in a big city, but would like to have a little more land. Land's really cheap out here. I was up at KFC in Sholo, eating my drumsticks, looked out the window, and here's this truck parked right there trying to turn into McDonald's across the street with a logo on it that said, buy an acre in Concho, Arizona for $200 a month. OpenAirProperties.net, and his phone number right there. And right after I took that picture, he turned into McDonald's, and I looked him up right then, and there it was. So yeah, maybe you're watching my videos and wondering, how do you even get started? Maybe you live out in Missouri or Illinois or New Hampshire, West Virginia, North Carolina, or somewhere like that, and you just don't even know where to start. Well, first of all, I don't do what I do. Don't buy sight unseen properties. Use the resources that I'm going to provide for you to get a start, and then go walk the property yourself and stop and listen and think. I'm gonna try to throw some things at you in this video to get you to make sure that you do your due diligence and cover everything. So I understand this video is a little longer than usual, but it is very important for me to try to do this one time and do it right so that I can help people get here in the many years and years to come. Even if these individual websites and realtors are not available in the future, it'll still give you an idea for some of the things to look for and where to kind of get started. And if you can't come out here in person, maybe you know somebody out here. Maybe you're a follower of Nomadic Fanatic, and you can email me at ericjacobs1414@yahoo.com and say, Eric, this one might be near you in Concho. Can you go take a peek for me? Can you take some pictures and let me know what you think? Yeah, I'll do what I can to help you out. Absolutely. So, look, I understand it can be overwhelming, and we have a busy life, and you have a busy life, and where do you even start? Where do you even know where to start looking online? There are so many different places, and it can be a little overwhelming if you don't know where to start. Just like my health and my insurance problems, I didn't know where to start. You got to start somewhere. Luckily for me, I have found a wonderful resources to help me stay healthy in a simple once-a-day gummy packet from Groons, and I want to thank Groons for again sponsoring today's video here on the channel. What I love about these gummies is that I can take them in a packet with me anywhere I go. They are fresh, and each packet contains several delicious gummies that have the nutrients that I need, that I kind of forget to take on a daily basis. They also taste really, really good. They taste like candy gummies. They're simple and easy and delicious and green. I live in a bus. I live off-grid, way away from Walmart and stuff like that. So it's really important for me to still be able to get those nutrients and vitamins that I would normally miss unless I have my Groons gummies with me, which has really, really helped me this winter. As a matter of fact, these powerful vitamins have helped me stay healthy for the first time this winter. Remember how many times I got sick last winter? 3, 4 colds. I had the flu. Guys, I have not gotten sick one time this winter. I believe that these groons are helping with my immunity to getting the common diseases and colds and flus and all that crap and bugs that are going around. And that's a good feeling. And those standard vitamins, multivitamins that you get at Walmart, they only have like 7 to 9 vitamins, where these guys here, they have more than 20 vitamins and minerals packed into each daily dose. The research doesn't lie. The gummies compared to tablets of multivitamins, these are way more absorbable than the tablets, way more. And there's over 35,000 research publications that support the ingredients in groons. What I also love about it is as you're traveling on the road, it's easy to go into your Groons account after you create it, and you can simply change the address. You can change it to wherever you need the new, fresh gummies to be delivered to on the road. Isn't that great? Hey, find out how you can get up to 52% off your Groons order by clicking the link in the video description below. Just go right underneath the video title of this video, scroll down below, and right there, click it, get 52% off your order. And thank you, Groons, for sponsoring today's video and keeping me healthy. Now, back to these other resources here, because I have several to share with you. So let's go through this together. Tara's still passed out on the couch. We'll go to the one that I found while I was at KFC eating my delicious drumsticks here, openairproperties.net. Now, I'm not 100% vouching for these companies. I do know some people who have purchased land through these companies, so I know that they are legit. But beyond that, I do ask that you do your own research and read all the fine print. And I'm going to help you through, guide you through some of the Valentine's Day. Okay, so yeah, this is Open Air Properties, and we're going to start with this map right here, which it looks like we've got some Colorado properties. We've also got some Memphis, is that Tennessee? That's, yeah, okay. But we're going to be focusing on this one right here. Let me move this one over. This little blob of hearts right there. This is going to be the Concho Valley here. Okay, guys, see all those little ones right there? Up here, this is going to be St. John's. So this is going to be much north. Up here, yeah, I don't want to... I personally have my preference where I'm looking. I want to scroll down here, right here. This area right here, you guys have heard me talk about the Y. This is the 60 and 61 Y, where the Stanford General Store is and the Dollar General Store. This line right here, that is the county separation. So over here, you have towards Show Low, this is going to be Navajo County. Navajo has much different rules on this type of off-grid life and much more restrictions, and you have to get a lot more permits than this side of the line that starts here and goes up. Arizona 61 right here, this will take you up to Holbrook and north of the Petrified Forest in Apache County, where US 60 right here, this will take you to St. John's, which is the seat capital, the county seat city, St. John's of Apache County, as well as it'll take you to New Mexico if you go far enough. But if you don't know, Apache County here in Arizona, it is the longest county in the United States, Apache County. That's kind of a weird one. It doesn't mean it's the biggest. It's not the biggest in size. It's not the biggest in population, and just over 66,000 residents here, but it is the longest. 211 miles long is the longest county. There is a lot of open land in Apache County. In fact, let's go over here. This is an Apache County official government web, apachecountyaz.gov, blah, blah, blah. I'll link all of these in the video description below, also underneath this video if you guys want to check it out. But this is, I've talked about this, work that does not require a building permit. The last updated 2015. There's a bunch of stuff here. A one-story detached accessory structure, provided that the floor area does not exceed 200 square feet. You guys have heard me talk about that. A common shed size here is 10 by 20, under 200 square feet. And then you can have as many of those as you want. You never have to get a permit. Look at it. You can have fences up to 7 feet high around your whole property without a freaking permit, guys. I mean, this is like... There's a lot of cool things about Apache County that this might even just be a surprise to some of you living in cities. Retaining walls not over 4 feet. Water tanks are fine. Sidewalks and driveways of 30 inches. So rock, asphalt, whatever. Painting, swings, decks. You can build decks without a permit here, and that's what a lot of people like to do, is get, like my shed that's 200 square feet, and then have a non-attached 200 square foot deck that is not higher than 30 inches off the ground. So it's got to be 30 inches or less off the ground. And then swimming pools. I mean, it's just, it goes on and on. Here's all the electrical stuff and the gas and the mechanical and repairs and plumbing. And there's some RCW codes there. So that's a very helpful tool. And also, it always, when I tell people you can do all these things without even needing to get the county involved and pay fees, and then, because I mean, you got to remember that the more things that you put on your property that enhance the property, just like in the city at your house, all those improvements you make, it's going to raise the taxes. Now, the taxes aren't bad in Apache County. I'm going to give you a generic number. It can change, obviously, but when I bought my 1 acre at Tater Land initially, my taxes were $54 or $56 a year for undeveloped land. Once I got my permitted septic system that cost $8,500 to put in, including the permits and all of the perk testing and everything else like that, it brought my value of the land double. It was $122 a year after I got the permitted septic filed through the county. It didn't matter. It was the only thing I needed to get permitted because I was hauling in my own water and I was doing solar panels that were under 200 square feet structures that held the panels and stuff like that. But still, I do want to say, the more stuff you have to get permits for, that's going to put an assessment on your land and raise your taxes. I mean, still $155 a year is nothing. However, this 5 acres this one is raw land. It's $316 a year that I paid last October. I didn't even own it for the whole year, but I guess I just decided that it was my responsibility since I'd purchased the land. So I covered that through my LLC and paid $316. And I assume that once I put a septic here, that's probably going to go up another $55. I mean, if my math is right, it should probably be closer to $400 a year in taxes for off-grid property, which seems like a lot for raw land. But I mean, think of the alternative. I mean, what else after septic do I need to get a permit for? You know what I mean? So anyway, that's there. Let's go back to the first one here. We are going to zoom out and I'm just going to show you a couple of these live so you can get an idea. Now, I like this stretch of Highway 61. I like this whole stretch. I like all the properties that are nearby. Unfortunately, right now, this has changed. He has apparently sold a couple because there was some over here. Yeah, this has changed. So this is Concho. All of this right here is the actual city of Concho. And I've looked at a couple of these properties. I'm just going to click on this one right here. It's going to pop up. I'm going to actually click the picture so it opens up. How do I do it? Like this. There we go. Okay. And then he's got a video. So this one has a price, $17,600 for 1.04 acres. That's a 1 acre property for $17,000. If you scroll down right here, here's the taxes listed at $38.52. So a little cheaper for 1 acre in taxes in Concho compared to down farther south. And here is your monthly payment right there. See that? There, you do not need credit with this guy. It's a no credit thing. You just pay the down payment, which I think he does down payments of somewhere around $250 for $250. And then you're going to set up your monthly payment of $350. Now, you will want to talk to them and find out what you can do because some of these properties through realtors, they won't let you live on it, occupy it, camp on it, or add structures to it. So definitely get that in writing when you're talking to these people about certain things and make sure that's okay, that while you're paying off the property, you're still allowed to make advancements on the property, and get it in writing because it's not going to do anything over the phone. Make sure that you have a replied email from the buyer, from the seller that says that. Okay. So yeah, there's that one. There are some cheaper ones, but I want to also show, oh, it reset on me. Hang on, let me go like this and pull this back up because you can also easily find where these are at. I'm going to, how do you switch it back? Okay, well, I was looking for the satellite, but one of the things I wanted to talk about was you need to know what you're looking for because a lot of these properties are going to be much cheaper than this, okay? You're going to find ones that are $200 a month. But are you going to have access to it? Are you okay with driving 20 miles of dirt roads that takes you 45 minutes to get from Highway 61 over to your property? Are you going to be okay with living an hour and a half away from Walmart and Home Depot instead of 15 minutes? So there are definitely some things to consider, but if you want to look at this piece of property right here, right over here, you're going to see an APN parcel number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that. Then I'm going to go to this Apache County parcel viewer here, and I'm going to load one zone. And we're just going to say Concho because I believe it is in Concho. And then up here in the search parcel, we're going to paste that parcel number and say search. Here's some information about who owns it. It's nice that it actually says Open Air Properties does own the property that they are listing. 1.4, there's no status, there's no HOA and stuff like that. And then after you do that, then you can zoom in and it's going to have it right here, okay? Then when you get here and you found the parcel number over here, you'll click satellite. You want to switch it. And now you're going to get your first look at what the land looks like here on Apache Drive and Mesquite Drive. It's not the corner lot right here, it's right here. But also if you zoom in, I don't know if you can see, this one has an established address. Well, at least next door you can see right here, it says 98. This one's covered by the parcel number, so I can't read it clearly right now. What does that say? 94 maybe? Anyway, you can pick this. See down here, this one definitely says 92. Every time I click it, it puts the parcel over, but when I put the mouse back off it, it definitely says 92. So that address would be 92 Apache Drive in Concho, Arizona, 85, whatever the zip code is, okay? You could also test that to make sure that the address works if that's important to you. Maybe you don't want an address. Maybe you want to be so far off grid that you don't want to have anybody be able to drive to your house using Google Maps or trash services or rock. Maybe you're never going to have water delivered to your address, so it doesn't matter if you don't have an established address. But even if it doesn't have a number on there, still consider it because you're still going to register your parcel number with Apache County. And they have a GIS system where after you submit it, I want a 911 address. That's what you tell them in the email. They'll actually take a couple weeks and they will give you an address. And then you can apply for your red 911 address sign so that people can find you, if that's important to you. But as you can see, there's a few junipers in this lot. There's only one road access, but I'm going to zoom out again. As you can see, it's not too far off the highway. You would come out your driveway like this. You'd go around this curve. You'd come down Concho Drive like this. And here's your exit right here, 5069, right on the highway. That's probably less than a half a mile from the highway. So that's great, great road access for $350 a month. And then in 3 years, you own your own land and you'll have a deed in your name, okay? So there's one. Let's go look at one more here just to see see this one over here? See that? Walk to Concho Falls and Concho Lake. It's only 0.37 acres. He wants $6,100 and the monthly is $150. So significantly cheaper for this property, but I also want to copy and paste this to see what this one looks like because again, we're going to be looking at road access. That's a very important thing when you're looking for off-grid property. Can you even get to your property? Is there a road to your property? Again, they do own this one. That's good. Okay, let's go ahead and zoom in here to the map. There it is. I have looked at this one before. I'm not impressed at all. You do have a road access here off of Moore Way. Very desolate. It has not been developed at all. Look at all these lots. And then Moore Way cuts right back in here to Highway 61 again. This is a dirt maintained road. Another thing you're going to want to look out for is any road that starts with the letter N. And if it's an N and then immediately starts back over, like if this said N5165, that does not mean north 5165. That means non-maintained road in Apache County. My advice, again, depending on how far off grid you want to be, try to stay off of non-maintained roads because the county does not maintain those roads and those roads can disappear in floods, monsoons. They can be washed out. If that is the only road to your property, you are in charge of maintaining that road and keeping it drivable. The county is not going to come help you out in any way. And also, if you need utilities like trash pickups, water delivery, propane delivery, and stuff like that, they are likely not going to... I just noticed something. Look right here where my mouse is. See that little shadow on the road right there? That's power line, guys. That's a power line, and I missed that the first time. I'm about 95% sure that's a power line there. Of course, you would want to double check that. I would drive out there and make sure that if that road has power, and it does. Look, there's another one right there. This line goes all the way down. So that, to me, that increases the value because In Apache County, you can bring Apache power to your property for like less than $3,000 in supplies, getting your power pole and meter installed. And you can't get power, another point that was not in the permits, you have to have a permitted septic system on your property before you're allowed to apply for power. That's one of the weird rules. There's two weird ones in Apache County, and I swear that they're not even that weird, but you do have to have an accepted, permitted, official septic system on your property before you can bring power to your property. And the second weird rule is, now you can have almost any animal you want that's allowed in Arizona here at your property, including horses, donkeys, sheep, goats, but you can't have swine. Apache County does not allow anyone in these properties to have pigs of any kind. I don't know why, but those are the two weird things. Okay, so we talked about how to look up the property and see more information about the property. We've talked about road access and how far off you want to be. We talked about power lines, if that's important to you. But again, you can always just do solar. Also, there's some other things to consider, and I learned this about my other first acre property, is that if that property has been, and this, if the property had applied for a septic permit in the past, that does not, and it got denied, like it failed it's called a perk test when they come out and perk for that. When you get those perk tests done, you're actually applying for a specific type of septic system to be installed in that area. And if the county deems that that the ground is not suitable for that style, like say at Taterland, if previous owners had come out and they bought it thinking they were going to put a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, multifamily home on the property, and it failed that perk test for that septic system for that amount, that doesn't mean you can't get a septic approved later on. And I'm walking, living proof of that, because when I submitted mine and got a separate perk test for a 1-person occupancy septic system for an RV that is not there full time, magically, the city said, yes, the soil is good for that. It was a 500-gallon septic system for a single family RV, not used all the time. Look at this guy. He cracks me up so much. The way he lays. He's comfortable like that. No, I want to scratch his belly, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to bother him right now. So yeah, if you go look at a property that has a big old hole, and it's pretty obviously that a perk test was done. As a matter of fact, Diana and I looked at another property that was identical to that. It was actually one that we were interested in before this property, and we met the people who were in the process of closing on it, and they did a perk test. And guess what? 30 days later, the property was back on the market. They wanted to put a big home there, and it did not pass perk, but I'm wondering, would that property pass for an RV? You know, because it's a smaller septic tank. So there's that. And obviously, definitely, if someone says they're selling a property, it's free to go look at that parcel number and see if they are really the owners, if they even hold the title. I mean, obviously you're going to go through a title agency, right? So that you have enough time to close and they can prove that that person has the right to sell you that. With these ones, you're going to need a contract with them for it that clearly states after this many months, you're going to transfer the title into my name or my LLC after I've paid it off. And look at, again, read all the fine print, guys. You have one chance to do this. Why do I bring this up? Because it just happened to another friend of mine on YouTube, and I'm heartbroken about it because the fine print said something that they didn't catch the first time, and it has changed their entire life on the property to the point where they had to vacate the property. It was that bad. Read the fine print. If you can't read it, ask a friend to read it for you and look it over and make sure there's nothing crazy in there that says you can't do something specifically that you had planned to do on your property. Let's go over to this other one here, Generation Family Properties. I forget where I found this one. It may have been a link that I saw. I can't remember in my search. But anyways, this one, let's look at this first one here in the middle. Well, first of all, it's Mojave County, so that's something to consider if you're not looking at Apache County. I think you should stick to Apache County. It does say $199 a month for 2 1/4 acres, but let's go down and let's find an Apache County one. right here. Okay, 1.27 acres facing Laguna Salada Lake. Power, water delivery, unlimited camping in Concho, Arizona, Apache County. $199 a month. Okay, that looks really, really promising. There's even a picture of the lake. You're probably wondering, Eric, is there really a lake at that property? And I'm going to tell you, it's dried up right now. So if you go look at this property right now here in February, you're not going to find a lake and you're going to think they lied. It's seasonal rainwater collection pond, I think I would call it. So Laguna Salada Lake, it sounds very nice. Also the wording, power. Power is nearby, okay? Water delivery, yeah, if you find a way to get it delivered. Unlimited camping in Concho, yeah, that's true. Also, I want to be 100% transparent here. If you are planning and living in a mobile vehicle, whether that be a bus, an RV, an SUV, anything other than an approved home that has running water, power, septic, and all that, Apache County does require you to get an occupancy permit to live in your RV. Now, again, I understand people don't like permits and stuff like that, but if you're going to live out here full time, which I'm not, we're actually going to be on the road and all over. I don't think I will ever live out here full time, so I will never need to get that particular permit, just bringing my RV by to work on my property. But you can live in your vehicle here in Apache County, but you do need to go get a permit, and it costs, I think, 75 bucks. No, 44 bucks. $44 is the last one I saw at St. John's, and they will probably grant it to you. I don't know why they wouldn't, and then you're allowed to camp in your vehicle all the time, year round. So no problem. So this one is $3,000 down, so a little more than the other site, and then $199 a month. And again, look into these companies and read all the fine print before you look at it. This one has, let me just pull up, there's a lot more information here. Zoning and allowed AG zoning. See right here where it says AG zoning? That means that it's an agricultural zoning. My property here is, do I even want to say it? Yeah, there's a lot of them. It's called AgRec. AG-REC. The AgRec ones are multi-use. You can use it for growing crops. Almost all of them you can, but it's for agricultural use and recreational use. Recreational use meaning your RV, camping. You could have a cabin. You could have a tiny house. Some of these lands you're not able to get the permit for, and St. John's is going to know. You're going to give them the parcel number. You're going to tell them, am I allowed to purchase that permit that allows me to live here full time, if you want to. Again, I don't have any friends who want to live up here year round. All of my friends are nomads buying property. They'll spend some time here and then a bunch of time elsewhere in other parts of the country. So it's not a thing. Nobody really lives here full time. But what can you build here? You're allowed one single family home, modular home, or mobile home per parcel with no minimum square footage. Is camping allowed? Yes. Camping is allowed with no time limit, though tent living is not allowed. That's interesting. I've not actually seen it written like that. Can you park or live in an RV? Yes, RVs can stay on the property with no time limit. There's a clause to that. Let's see here. Full-time, year-round RV living is allowed with an approved septic system from the Department of Health. I have never actually seen it worded like that. As far as I know, full-time, if you get the full-time permit, you're allowed to do it, and then you can take your stuff to the Elkhorn RV park for your waste like I do. You would have to look into this. It looks like he's giving a lot more information about these particular properties, but I will also link this one, Generation Family Properties here, if you want to take a look at it here for the Apache County stuff. Okay. Lastly, there are two other places that I can at least say with some confidence that you're going to be able to find properties. One is Craigslist. Did you know Craigslist is still around? And there are properties here in Apache County. Concho, Vernon, Snowflake, not Snowflake. Snowflake's another county. I mean, you can if you want. There's Snowflake and Taylor. A lot of people do out there, but they have stricter rules. So Craigslist, and then Facebook Marketplace is another one. And real quick, I gotta go back, because every time I even bring up the name Facebook, all my haters, and they lose their mind, and they flash this clip, I'm not on Facebook. And they just replay that nonstop, and then they say, Eric's a liar, Eric's a liar. How about you play the whole clip? How about you play the whole clip that I said? Stop. The whole point of that was Nomadic Fanatic is not me on Facebook. You are still going to find Nomadic Fanatic on Facebook, and I've told you guys over and over, it's not me. I don't have a Nomadic Fanatic Facebook. I did at one time. The trolls took it over, and a few of my friends operate a couple of them. But please don't twist my words. I personally am on Facebook. Eric Jacobs, I'm on Facebook. You're not friends with me on Facebook because it's for my family. Nomadic Fanatic is also on Facebook. You'll find it, but it's not me. That's not me. Same thing with YouTube. If you find another Nomadic Fanatic on YouTube, please make sure that you are following the account that has the verified checkmark, because that means you're talking to me. And again, I have people who like to say, I'm selfish because I talk about the check mark. No, I wanted to make sure you knew you were talking to me and not one of my trolls. Eric said this, and Eric did that. Were you talking to the right Nomadic Fanatic? Because the one I have has the check mark. But anyway, Marketplace is where I found Taterland, guys. And it was a great property. It still is a great property. Yeah, Marketplace. A Marketplace, you can also find sometimes some owner financing things. And don't be afraid of, let's say you find a property that's 1 acre, it's right where you want it on Marketplace, and she or he wants $10,000 for it. Don't be afraid. If you don't have the money, don't be afraid to say, hey, will you take $2,500 and then payments for a year or two? Because, and even if they say, no, I don't really want to do that, did you know this? You can say, well, what if I do all the work? You and I meet at Pioneer Title. They're an accredited title company here, and they do all the paperwork and everything. They will set it up, and it's all legit. They will deposit the money. I pay them, then they pay you, and it's in a contract, and I don't get the deed until it's paid off. I have friends who have done this, guys. It's an actual thing. You don't need to be worried that nobody's going to do it. You might be able to talk someone into it that maybe didn't want to do it themselves, because owner financing sounds like, oh, I don't want to deal with all that. I just want the cash now. And then you tell them, well, we're actually going to go through a legitimate title company here, and you're going to get paid guaranteed. Otherwise, you get to keep the property, and you get to keep all of my payments if I stop. So kind of a win-win for you, and you could maybe talk them into it. You know what I mean? So just something to consider. These private title companies, especially Pioneer here in the area, they are able to set up owner financing deals, and you can buy your property ahead of time and own it. Maybe occupy it, as long as, again, you need to write in there that I get to occupy it, work on it, put gravel, septic, do all this stuff, and make sure it gets signed off appropriately. But yeah, don't not consider a Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, because they're great resources. And like I said, that is where I found Taterland. I found Tater Acres on Zillow. Zillow is another one that's great for looking. It's really tough because the agent that I was working with, she's great, by the way. Her name's Joy. She's very knowledgeable about why people are buying property here. She works the Concho area. Most likely, if you ask to talk to a realtor and you're on Zillow in Apache County, they're going to put you in touch with Joy, and she's going to ask you a bunch of questions. Give her as much information as you possibly can, because she understands what you're looking for if you're very, very specific. To the point where, even in mine, we said we travel with 5 cats. We would like to have no neighbors and no dogs barking nearby. And she can, to an extent, she can put that together. So Zillow itself does not do financing, but if you're looking to finance some land there, first of all, let's go back. If you can buy it outright, it's going to be safer. You're going to be able to do more with your property right away, and it's going to be less stressful. But the point of this is to say, money aside, $400 or $500 can get you started on the first website that I showed you right there. I gave you 5 resources. They're all in the video description below, as well as the stuff you don't need a permit for. And finally, got to help you guys out. It's what I like doing on this channel. I didn't start this channel to travel. Those of you that have been with me since 2013 know I sat down and I shared my knowledge and help and resources with my viewers from the start. So if you don't like these kinds of videos, just understand that this is how I got my start. It's what I like to do, a little bit of research, and then I can help people. And again, if there's something nearby here in Concho, Vernon, probably not St. John's, but something between the start of the Y and up to as far as Concho, in either direction, towards Holbrook or St. John's, you can email me, ericjacobs1414yahoo.com. I'll be glad to give you my advice. I'll be glad to drive by and look at it, maybe take some pictures for you if you're really, really serious. But other than that, I mean, do your due diligence and research and stuff like that, and please do still consider coming out before you put any money down or sign a contract or go into closing. Put your feet on it. Look, I love Tater Acres. I love being out here. I love how quiet it is. I love how remote it is. But if I had a chance to go back and do it differently, and this doesn't mean Frank and Tammy, who came out to look at this property for me when Diane and I were in Michigan this summer, he was very, very honest. I could have taken to heart a few more things that he had said about the roads out here, you know, like the things like, I mean, I made it, but I mean, it was kind of rough and it was slow and there was some parts that I thought were impassable, but you'll make it. That's why things are so quiet out here, because we're a little too far off grid. And if I could do it again, knowing what I know today, I think that I would make a different decision. I think that I would be closer to the pavement is all, or at least stay on maintained roads, because maintained roads look a lot different than non-maintained roads out here. The county maintains them, puts rock, grades them, keeps them clear year-round. Mud, snow, water, washes it. If something gets washed out, they come right out and fix it with their machinery. If you're on a non-maintained road, you are simply on your own. And there have been times where Diane and I don't know if we're leaving. It's been dry for several days now. The snow is almost all melted, so we're doing better. But I mean, again, it might help to get your feet there first. Thanks for joining me, guys. I will see you. Kitties will see you in a couple days. Bye, guys.